Welcome to The Direct Line, the official podcast for OADSP. We're excited to have you here with us today, and if you have comments, suggestions, or if you want to join us in studio as a guest, reach out to me at podcast@oadsp.org. Welcome to The Direct Line. I'm David Rustio, and today I'm speaking with Jamie Steele. Welcome to the show, Jamie.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's kind of a rainy, cloudy day, but feeling good.
Yeah, I kind of got my clothes all wet just trying to get in your door.
Yeah. I was wondering why you're all wet.
Well, actually, I was really happy that one of your female staff gave me clothes to wear.
Sweet.
That were dry.
Yes, that explains the flowers.
So, Jamie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, my work self and really my life self is, I'm a CEO of Ohio Valley Residential Services, where you're here today. We have been around since 1972, the organization, so it's been around a long time. I haven't been around that long.
You're like 30. So
exactly. Perpetually 30, yeah. So, when I say all the time I'm a CEO, I really am in a lot of ways, because it is, for me, a life choice. And I carry the same values that I do in life into my work, And so that's really, in a nutshell, how I approach the work and my life.
Well, we don't really care about work right now.
Okay, good.
We're going to get to that.
All right.
Tell us about you. Who is Jamie Steele?
Well, Jamie Steele's very complex, David. I'm just kidding. I'm very passionate about almost everything. So the same passion I bring to work, I bring to my outside life too.
Sure.
And so I've been gifted, throughout my life with a decent singing voice.
You have a good singing voice.
Thank you, brother. And I also like acting.
Mm-hmm.
Starting at a young age, 8, 9 years old, I started performing in front of people in various shows, things like that. Through high school, all through college, I was in a couple bands. Mm-hmm. So that was fun during the 80s, to go to play at nightclubs. And you meet a lot of really interesting people.
Absolutely.
In that world, and I loved every bit of it. Just became a better performer too. So I was just like I said, I'm passionate, we'll get to in work, very passionate about performing. So I like to be good. I like to entertain. I like to be at the highest game for me. So that's what I do a lot. On top of that, most important is my family, and been married for 30 years to my wife, Christine, and we have 4 very talented kids.
Great.
So they're very proud of them. They're all performers themselves. Mainly, 3 out of the 4 are accomplished dancers.
Okay.
My son is a world champion Irish dancer.
Really?
Yeah. So is my wife.
Okay.
And she teaches Irish dancing. My daughter and I are in a play right now where she's the choreographer. Opens this next weekend.
I saw that on Facebook.
Escape to Margaritaville. It's a lovely story, all Jimmy Buffett music. It's pretty crazy, but we're having a good time.
Good.
Yeah. So, and that's professional theater now, because we all get paid as actors. And so I feel like, I've gotten to a good level and still entertaining people. So I like that, because, David, what it does for me, everybody's got something that we're in stressful jobs.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got something to wind down. I could easily pick alcohol, drugs. I could, which a lot of people unfortunately get into to deal with stress. I happen to, thank God, have another outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I've heard you play live.
Yeah.
You are a great musician. I said good earlier, but you're a lot of fun. I mean, you're a true performer.
Well, thanks.
And that makes a difference when you're in a crowd listening to somebody. And even though I know you, I still liked it.
Good.
So.
That's good. That's funny.
And I did look you up, of course, on Facebook. And we've known each other
Sure.
a long time, but I looked up recently, of course, because I'm coming here.
Yeah.
And saw about the show and excited, and I wish I could be here to see it.
Yeah.
Who knows? My life might change by next week.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Yeah, I mean, and I got a little recording studio myself and do some singing. And
You have things on like iTunes or anything?
not on iTunes. All of it's really on Facebook. So
Okay.
if you look under Live at Jamie's Basement,
Oh,
that's my Facebook page with all my videos. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I have fun. It's fun.
Now, just so the audience understands a little more about you, I'm gonna call you a word,
Okay.
and you can respond to that.
Sure.
I think you're a little bit eccentric
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd agree.
in a good way.
I'd agree with that, David. We only got so much time, and I grew up. I'm going to tell you a little bit why, right? I think I agree with being eccentric. I grew up in a family, great family, 6 kids. I was number 5, and number 6 was my little brother Andy, who had severe developmental disabilities.
Okay.
And so my older brothers and sisters, I think the next one older than me is 6 years older. They were gone or doing stuff,
Sure.
and Andy and I spent a lot of time together, a lot of time. So it was a natural fit for me. He basically taught me. He was my teacher into the field.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of us don't have that. I had it since 5 years old. Someone grooming me into a particular field. How about that?
There you go.
So with that, I watched my father, who was a very successful man. And I say successful, meaning he came from nothing, an orphan.
Okay.
He was an orphan at 9 years old during the 40s, 30s and 40s, and had a tough life.
Yeah.
But he made it all the way through to be a superintendent of a whole Ford factory here locally.
Wow.
That's a big deal,
It is.
right? Went to night school while working on the assembly line during the day. Anyway, he got, because I was number 5 and Andy was number 6, we experienced the time when he got sick. So in his 50s, he started having strokes, and he had a total of 7 strokes, and each stroke just took a little piece of him. So there would be times where it was my mom, Andy, who's totally dependent on care, and my dad, who became totally dependent on care, and the 4 of us would make it work. And I realized quickly at a young age, I remember the day sitting there talking right before my dad's first brain surgery with him in the hospital. And I remember talking to him about, life's so short.
Sure.
You think your things are rolling, and all of a sudden, bam, something happens. And if you start growing up, you start hearing other stories, people going through the same thing. I guess my point is, the way I look at it, because of my experience, I look at my experience, I look at my dad's situation as a way, he didn't intentionally do this,
Right.
but it taught me to be who I am.
Mm.
So I capitalized on that,
Sure.
like we all should, on when people teach us something. So life being short means that you gotta, if you have something to say, if you have some kind of passion or something to do, you got to find different ways to get that out there,
Right.
right? So that people, you got to meet people where they're at,
Right.
and some people you meet them through being a little silly. Sometimes you meet. I had a good friend, John Romer, who was also in the field. He was my best man at my wedding, who recently died a couple years ago. Funniest man alive. He taught me that.
Right.
The way through humor to get the point across. Other people, you need to come from a theoretical standpoint. Something to back you up
Sure.
in what you're saying. And I'm real into that. So I've educated myself on various philosophies, especially leadership. So, eccentric, in a way that, how can I get something across, some kind of message I think is very important.
Right.
In various different venues, so people will at least think about it.
And they'll want to listen.
Yeah, I hope so. you hope. And if they don't listen, it's really up to me to find the way
Sure.
to help them listen, if it's that important, right?
I love it when I've seen you in conferences and public venues, when you put on one of your hats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes, and you know your audience when you're doing it, so you know some of the things that you wear.
Sure.
It lightens a room.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And so that's
when I'm most comfortable. I'm a guy. Every time I'll get a shirt and for Christmas or something, and I cut the sleeves off.
Sure.
I can't stand sleeves. So
you're wearing sleeves today.
I am. Well, I've taught myself to be tolerant during work, but
Okay.
It's really just about my comfortability, and if that helps others be comfortable, that's great.
Yeah.
But I do love hats. I have tons of them.
I love them too.
Yeah.
So, tell us about this organization that you lead.
Sure. So Ohio Valley, as I said, has been around since 1972. Basically, it was like a lot of organizations, started because of deinstitutionalization.
Sure.
So the big institutions were starting to let people out. The way the government handled deinstitutionalization is if you lived at Orient State Institution or Columbus, whatever, you went back to your home county, meaning the county you were born in.
Sure.
So you can just imagine the big counties, Hamilton County with Cincinnati, Cuyahoga with Cleveland, and so forth, right. Franklin. Just had a tremendous amount of people that they had to provide services to in the community for the first time. So Ohio Valley was one of those agencies that started up. We primarily have the group home model, and which is licensed as
Sure.
it has evolved, and it's licensed through the department. So we also do shared living, which
Okay.
is we have a pretty healthy shared living program,
Okay.
which you're going to interview the director of that.
Yep.
So Ohio Valley is primarily licensed group homes. We have a big presence here in our county. We provide, and it's not only group home services, but it's, just like any residential, it's life services
Sure.
for individuals. And have a great amount, some really great staff. We went through periods like everybody where pandemic scared a lot of people away.
Sure.
We're back. Just last week, my HR person said we have every DSP position filled.
Isn't that fantastic?
And then a day later, we didn't. But you have to celebrate those moments.
Right.
Because that's unheard of. Even before the pandemic.
Sure.
It was tough, as you know.
Yeah.
But Ohio Valley has not only a great service to people with developmental disabilities here in Hamilton County, but also when I came in, I was determined to be a leader in the county. Mm. And the way I approach that, if you don't mind, I get
go
move
ahead.
on, is to, I believe, because I've had many friends over the years, and I've been in the field a while, that, hey, guess what? People at the county board aren't bad. People at DOD aren't bad people, right?
Right.
So, in fact, they're good people in a lot of ways, and we all serve the same client.
Right.
So it was my goal to acknowledge that they have changed the, before that, county was the enemy. They didn't understand providers, vice versa.
Sure.
And I decided, no, that's the wrong script. So another local provider and I started a group called Gold Standard. And the whole idea behind Gold Standard was two things. One, have a better relationship with the county,
okay,
our county board, in that we respect the services that they do. In fact, we support the services so much that they do that we're willing to do anything we can to make them better. Okay.
Great.
And then the second part of Gold Standard was to be, I learned from a lot of people before me how to be a good leader and how to run services. I didn't come up with that on my own.
Sure.
And so I really do believe in mentorship. And so we have about 12 providers here in Hamilton County that get together and support each other. So we're doing two things. One, supporting the county board. Two, supporting each other. And that could be, it could be from anything of a fiscal crisis within an agency. It could be anything from I need help with back office stuff.
Right.
Just helping each other out. So that's another part. When you ask what about OVRS, we're not only a good service industry, but I hope we are a leader in the county for providers and our county board. That's my goal.
We'll be right back. Most places in the world experience some kind of winter weather. Cold, snow, ice, gray skies, you get the picture. And it's straight science that months of that has a negative impact on our outlooks and energies. But OADSP has a solution, our Beat the Winter Blues series. From January to early spring, we offer activities and happenings meant to break up the monotony of chilly, dreary winter days. From virtual dance parties and paint and sip events to regional travel and adventures in exciting locations, nearly all of OADSP's Beat the Winter Blues occasions are meant for anyone, DSPs and the individuals they support, family members, other staff, and so on. And anyone who's attended an event will tell you that, for at least a little bit, we did, in fact, beat the winter blues. Check the calendar for scheduled Beat the Winter Blues events at oadsp.org. And now back to the show.
It's not just competition.
It's not competition at all. There's plenty of people to serve. And, those days of competition, I'm sorry, I don't even know if they existed, but they shouldn't have. Competition's good, but it doesn't have to be the main driver.
Sure.
So the Gold Standard Group, we do some unheard of things. So our relationship with the county board is so good that they come to us often with, hey, we're thinking about this idea, and they throw it to our little group, and what do you think? We get feedback, which is awesome. Two, they allow us to train every new SSA in what it. So when a new we're on the program, when they come into the SSA position to talk about what it's like on the provider side, just to give people a little insight into that. So and I don't know too many counties and allow that providers to do that. It's really paid off. It really has.
It's very interesting, and especially if you have a new SSA.
Yeah.
They may not know what they're getting into.
Right.
And they may not have even known that this industry existed.
Right.
I mean, most people don't.
Right.
I mean, when I worked for an agency in the Dayton area, when we tried to open a group home, the neighbors got crazy.
Yeah.
And it was just fear-based.
Sure.
They didn't know what to expect. And,
Right.
And their imagery was of the worst that they've seen somewhere.
Right. Or they're convicts or something like that.
Right. Yes, yeah. And so we went in and we became a great neighbor.
Yep.
And so I think that's kind of what you're talking about too.
Absolutely. One of the jobs is when providing services to people, I don't care if it's people with developmental disabilities, mental health,
Sure.
whatever it is, you have a responsibility to teach
Sure.
what it's like to be in a community. It's not an easy thing, but that's one of our jobs to do, and that part of that is being a good neighbor, being a good citizen, being a good community member, those kind of things.
And when a new individual is coming to get services from you, if they've never had services before,
Right.
parents can be worried.
Yeah.
They don't know what it means to have a company care for their child.
Yeah, and that can lead to some wonderful things. It usually does.
Yep.
But there's some challenging things too. And that's where the benefit, it's a big benefit for myself to have lived with an individual with a developmental disability. Because I watched my mother, it got to a point where my little brother Andy was too physically
Sure.
heavy for her to handle. And so we started looking at homes and stuff like that for him. And I remember clearly, her whole identity in life by then. In fact, probably when Andy was born, her whole identity was about her caring for him, right? So, because in the 60s, you were told to institutionalize kids like Andy.
Right.
They brought him home,
Right.
and he lived there most of his life. So I watched that through her, and I've used that throughout my career of understanding where parents are coming from. Because when a person, moves on, it's a wonderful thing to
Sure.
move on, go live in support living or group home or whatever. But the mom and dad are sitting there going, well, I need a new identity now. Because my identity has always been for years
Right.
about my son or daughter.
Who am I now?
Exactly. And who's there for them for that?
Sure.
That's part of our job too.
It is.
And even that, and people in our field need to understand that, because we all deal with tough families, and it's tough sometimes. But to realize it's not about us. It's really about what they're going through, and we need to recognize that and help them.
So, as the CEO of this organization, how does this life experience play out in how you operate?
Right. Well, it is. It is what it is. My life experience is how I operate.
So you play music every Friday for anybody that shows up.
I don't go that far. No, but my staff are aware of, when I'm in plays and things like that, or I'm doing music, that kind of thing. I don't try to hide that
Sure.
at all. But I think I'm a better CEO because of my life experience.
Sure.
I look at it as I was very fortunate to be, and really unintentionally, been groomed to be a leader in this field because of my life experience. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. In some ways, lucky.
Yeah, I definitely feel lucky. Yeah.
I didn't know this field existed until I was hired. Company I worked for was sold to a much bigger organization. I was in the HR training division.
Wow.
And we were all let go one Monday. and so
On a Monday, come
sure.
on.
Well, they were nice enough to let us enjoy our weekend before they broke the news. But
After you bought a car on Saturday, and now I have to pay.
they didn't seem to care about any of that. And their severance, they
Yeah, right.
they were making money.
Sure.
They were going to try to keep all of it.
Yeah.
I guess I can't complain about that or blame them for that. But once I got in, I was hired as a home manager.
Right.
Right. And I was terrified because I didn't know this industry existed, and I had no clue what they did. And my mind was filled with all of the wrong information.
Right.
I was probably there 2 months. Now I had put out that looking for another job,
Sure.
Decided this is where I'm meant to be.
Nice.
And, so I moved up in the organization and ended up at one of the top figures in that organization. And all of that has helped me prepare for the fact that I now have 3 grandchildren with autism.
Wow.
And so I can talk to my daughter and son-in-law about things that I would have never been prepared for before this. And these are all great kids.
Yeah. But isn't that a blessing in a lot of
Yeah.
ways? Yeah.
I mean, they were terrified when they first learned
Sure.
they had somebody with autism. So, bringing that temperature down.
That's going to be okay. There, thank
Yeah.
God it's, during our lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
we really are providing some pretty great opportunities
Absolutely.
to people that they just in our lifetime didn't have when we were young.
Oh, no, not at all.
And understanding general community, yeah.
So, Jamie, what are some of the challenges your organization faces today?
Right. Well, I think the biggest challenge is kind of what you just talked about, is buy-in. So, like I mentioned, we're doing pretty good at recruiting the people to the field, which is awesome.
For a day.
For a day, at least, yeah. But compared to where we were, a couple of years ago, it's been great that way. But how do we keep people? It's about retention now.
Right.
The focus is retention. So I think that's the biggest challenge. What we really don't know what attracts people to the field. We really don't. It's certain. I mean, the money's better, but it's not the money.
It's not enough money.
No. Transportation. What issues are getting in the way? Transportation, I'm sure, for people working in the field. One of the biggest things is daycare. Mm-hmm. So, daycare services are tough and they're expensive. I don't know how anybody could afford, what we pay,
right,
which, is pretty good in this county, in our industry. But how could you afford daycare too? So the biggest challenges, I think, are how can we address some of those issues that a person who is a DSP in our field is faced with every day? How can we help that so that they can continue to be in the job and move up like you and I did? Right? And stay committed to the work. I think that's the biggest challenge for all of us going forward.
Well, you've kind of already talked about what you love best. So talk about any individual. You, of course, don't say their name or anything.
Sure.
But talk about somebody who's really impacted your life because you were able to serve them.
Right. Well, I'll tell a story then because it was a big impact for me. So I was probably 18, 19 years old and going to college full-time and working full-time at a group home. And we had the opportunity to start a group home, a brand new group home. So John Romer, who I mentioned before, my buddy John, and I got in a van, a 14-passenger van, and we drove up to Orient to pick up 6 guys. Okay, so Orient was this, it reminds me of Oz because it's all farmland. And then all of a sudden, this city popped up. Right. And it was a city. It was a city of people with disabilities. So we go to Orient, and they send us to this one room, a big gymnasium room, and there are 6 guys sitting on chairs. That's it, with the duffel bags. And these are the 6 men that we're going to bring back to Hamilton County because they happen to be born here.
Right.
They have most of them had no family left here, but that's the way the system worked. And they really didn't know each other either. That's how big this place is. They live in different cottages.
Okay.
So they were strangers too. So, here we are. We're very excited. And they get in the van, and we're pulling off down the road, and we get on 71, and we're going south to Cincinnati. All of a sudden, hell breaks loose.
Okay.
A couple of the individuals realized what we were doing. We were taking them away from their home. And we don't know them. And they are pounding their heads on the windows. The vans are rocking in the wrong way.
Right.
So we pull over, and John and I get everybody out. We're on the side of the road. People are just flying by. And we get out a little bit in the cornfield area off the highway and just waited until everybody settled down. And luckily, we all got back in the van, and we made it back to Cincinnati. Well, I got to know all 6 of these guys pretty well. And each one was so unique and wonderful and beautiful.
Sure.
But one of the individuals was obvious right away, had been sexually abused.
Okay.
Multiple times. There was physical repercussions from that.
Sure.
So we were able to get him right away into some treatment, which he should have had, which didn't.
Right.
And get at least, I'm sure the pain was horrible. He was the greatest guy, though. it was just great. And I got to know him from more of his strengths to someone who has that kind of abuse, trauma, pain, is really, and survives, is really strong in a lot of ways, right? It's not a weakness.
No.
There's a strength there to survive. And that impacted me big time. Made me realize in my comfortable life, right, that it just helped me appreciate people, human beings, and their capabilities.
Wow.
Yeah.
Comes from the heart, doesn't it?
Oh, God. It has to.
So I want to end on a high note.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to do something that we did not discuss in advance.
Okay.
And
I can leave my clothes on, right?
I guess.
Thank God. For you. So you don't have to see that.
I've only seen your arms and legs.
It's good enough. That's all I show.
So share a talent. Sing us a bit of a song.
Oh, my goodness.
You can do it. I can't provide drums or anything.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, off the cuff, I tell you, what I'll do the song from the show because I'm doing it right now.
Perfect.
The one I sing. So it's a Jimmy Buffett song, and I can't remember the name of the song, to be honest with you. I sing part of it.
Okay, now the trick here is, because of copyright laws, I have to stop you at 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay, great. Thank God. Please do. Yeah. Now I live in the islands, fish in the pilings, and drink my green label each day. Oh shit, now I forgot the words. Writing my memoirs, losing my hearing, and I don't care what most people say. For 76 years of perpetual motion, if I like you, I'll smile and I'll say. That's good enough.
Okay.
There you go.
And we were within the legal time limit.
Sweet. We won't get sued.
No, I think you might get hired for more.
There you go.
Well, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad I could meet with you today.
Thanks for listening, and join us next time on The Direct Line.